Hey y'all, so I'm in my office today doing something a little bit different. So I have kind of just discovered something that I'm gonna just update you guys on since this is a page about health and wellness, and maybe someone out there is struggling with the same thing or could possibly help me with some tips or advice. So I went to the doctor I had mentioned in a previous video about my thyroid and issues that were going on with that. So I went back to test, and this is something that they don't tell you when testing for thyroid, is that if you're taking a multivitamin with biotin in it, that it can skew the test results. So I had skewed results, and when I stopped taking the biotin multivitamin, my results came back normal. Now I'm still waiting on one more test, so I'll update on that. But one thing that did come back was that I have an antibody for Hashimoto's disease, which means that I have a 30% chance of developing Hashimoto's in my lifetime, and there's some preventative steps that can help to prevent that from developing. Now, one of those things is being gluten-free. Now, I was kind of upset about this because I just got to a good point of being sugar-free where, I finally conquered sugar in a way that, and this is what I'll say because, I do believe in moderation. I do believe in what some people call the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule, where 80% or 90% of your diet is your healthy choices, the things that you've restricted, the things that you cut out, the meals that you're preparing for yourself, smaller portions, whatever diet restrictions you have, that's 80 to 90% of your diet. And then that 20 to 10% is, having an ice cream once a month, having a slice of pie once a month, having, a little bit of chocolate drizzle on your smoothie bowl, once a month. Like things like that, that are like, those are treats, and I just think that with any diet that you choose, restricting is just not the way to go. If you restrict and feel deprived, then you will bounce back and start eating the regular foods that you initially cut out, right? So when I was trying to cut out sugar, the thing that helped me the most was eating fruit, right? Eating just like a ton of fruit. And the sweetness from the fruit really helped me just still feel like I was eating something sweet without actually eating something that had sugar in it, right? And, there's times where, I forgot to get the zero sugar Gatorade and I got the regular Gatorade, and I'm not gonna, not drink it or hold myself to an unrealistic standard. But I would say 80 to 90% of my food sources and my food choices are sugar free, while that, and there's just been kind of a new thing for me of just being on metformin that is kind of taking away some of that food noise where you just kind of want to snack at night or you just kind of want to eat more. And I didn't realize that because of the medication that I was on that was actually raising my blood sugar, it was causing cravings that I didn't even fully understand until I started on metformin, which lowers blood sugar. And I realized I'm not even craving the same things. I can eat a meal and just go to sleep without having to eat after. And sometimes I'm honestly just too tired to even think about eating. Like I just don't even think about it as much anymore, I still have like little snacks every once in a while of like sweet things or an apple with my brownie butter, monk fruit spread that I've showed you guys or whatever it is. But overall, I've just realized that I'm not really snacking anymore. That's been kind of a new thing with metformin. And I'll go back to what I'm kind of talking about with moderation because I just think it's so important that when you restrict something and you say, okay, for the rest of my life, I'm never going to have this, it creates kind of a psychological effect in your mind where you start to want it more, because you told yourself I'm never going to eat it. Now, if you say I'm not eating this right now, but at the end of the month, I'll allow myself to have one slice of pie, one little ice cream, one whatever, then you start to realize, okay, this is doable for me. This is something that I can sustain, right? So we don't want diets that are fad diets, that are lose weight quick diets, that are in an extreme calorie deficit. That's going to you're going to burn out of that quick, right? You want something sustainable. You want something that can help. And you also want to go to your doctor and get a physical and a blood test check to make sure that your sugar levels are normal, to make sure you're not pre-diabetic, to make sure you don't have thyroid issues, which is causing, weight gain or endometriosis or whatever it is. You want to make sure you don't have underlying health conditions that's causing weight gain, right? So now back to being gluten-free because of Hashimoto's. So this is something that I have just embarked on my journey, and I will definitely update you guys. I'm going back to cooking. I'm not going to do my meal plan anymore. So I'll be able to show you guys some meal prep ideas and some stuff that I've been eating for myself. And one of the things that, has really helped me with gluten-free is having other healthy carbs, right? It's good to be on a low carb diet, but if you're so restrictive, one of the best, most helpful things is root vegetables. Being able to eat potatoes. If you can't eat gluten, eating potatoes kind of gives you that feeling, that sensation of, a satiating kind of comfort food, because for me, I like bread, I like pizza, I like burgers, I love bread, and so to have to cut that out is, even though I've been mostly gluten-free, I'm going to be a little bit more of a shark with it, where I'm going to be a little bit more committed to being super gluten-free in order to prevent this disease. And so some of the things that I'll just share with you guys today that I've already researched about being gluten-free, So some of the things that I've researched already about being gluten-free and just foods to avoid and stay away from, I'm just going to go down a list of things that I found really helpful and that are going to help me start out on my journey. These are the things to stay away from, right? Wheat, that makes sense, gluten, wheat, barley, rye, farina, spelt, kamut, wheat berries, farro, and couscous. They all have gluten. So you want to stay away from that. And, if you're getting pasta gluten-free or bread gluten-free, there's a lot of rice blends and stuff like that. I'll definitely be going back to rice. I kind of was on a really low carb diet, but it wasn't gluten-free, because I was on the Factor meals and I called in and was like, hey, do you guys have gluten-free options? And when I looked on the meals to see if there was gluten-free options, there was little to none. So I had to cancel that service. It was, it tasted good. The meals tasted good, but I had to cancel the service, right? So it's one of those things where, you're just going to have to find what works for you, For me, cooking from home just gives me more control over what's going into my food. I don't have to guess. I don't have to worry. And then also, I'm not having meals delivered to me in plastic containers, which we know is not good, with microplastics being found at higher rates in our bodies and all of the stuff that's going on there. So I think I'm on a good roll to just kind of go back to what I was doing before, and just meal prepping meals that I can eat throughout the week. So this one is one that I wasn't really sure of, but soy sauce. Soy is good. You can eat soy milk, soybeans, but soy sauce contains wheat, right? And tamari is like a gluten-free soy sauce. And I also think they have like the Bragg's amino acids. I'm pretty sure that's gluten-free. I would have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's gluten-free because I definitely use soy sauce in a lot of my dishes. So, and I use teriyaki sauce too. So it's kind of like the sauces are where it's hard to make sure that you're, gluten-free, because there is gluten in literally everything. It's crazy. And it's so sad for me because I love it, but I have to give it up. All right, so quinoa is good. Couscous is not good. And you know what I didn't know about couscous? Couscous is actually a pasta. Who knew? Who knew? It looks like a grain. It looks like, little small grains, but it's a pasta. So you want to avoid any gluten pasta like couscous, like regular pasta, just avoid it because it does have gluten in it. So buckwheat is actually good. So if you see buckwheat in your gluten-free bread or in your gluten-free pasta, don't worry. Buckwheat is totally fine. It is a healthy grain. It's a grain, but it doesn't have gluten. So this is one, barley malt syrup. You got to look in the back of products and see if barley malt syrup is on some of the ingredients, because that does have gluten and you want to avoid it. So vinegar, yes, vinegar is good. Malt vinegar has gluten. So I know malt vinegar is so good on fries, and we can definitely keep eating fries as long as you're not celiac and the fryers are contaminated by other things. Like for instance, at an Asian restaurant, if you are getting fried tofu, but they're frying wontons and egg rolls in the same fry mixture, then that fry would be contaminated. So if you're celiac and you have to be super careful, then you should avoid certain restaurants that have fryers for things that do contain gluten in them, right? And it's always good to just check at your local restaurants to ask, do you have gluten-free options? And if you are being more serious about your gluten, about things containing gluten, I would just say that you do have celiac or an allergy, to just make sure that they don't put any gluten in there, and that they're careful with the tools they use, that they'll use fresh tools for whatever they're making. There's some pizza places that have gluten-free pizza, but they're cutting it with all of the gluten utensils. So making sure that they have clean utensils, you really got to talk to your restaurants and talk to your local places and see what options they have before you go there and are just disappointed in the menu. And some of the restaurants that I know have gluten-free options that I know for me I can eat are like, Jersey Mike's. They have a gluten-free bread. Chick-fil-A apparently has a gluten-free bread. They also have salads. Any place that has salads. I was at Zaxby's last night and got a buffalo blue salad, and it was grilled chicken. Obviously, I can't have breaded chicken anymore because breaded chicken is flour, but there are options, I try to see if anyone can lettuce wrap my burgers. Five Guys is really good at lettuce wrapping. They'll definitely lettuce wrap your burger, and it's absolutely delicious. Certain places can do the lettuce wrap. Certain places don't know what you're talking about. And if you say, I'm gluten-free, and they kind of look at you with like don't go there. They have no idea what they're talking about. I went into this little shop down the street and I tried to get a burger and tell them to lettuce wrap it. It came out just a regular burger. They had no idea what I was talking about. They didn't know. They just thought I wanted lettuce on the burger. So just if they look at you confused, go somewhere else. So a really good gluten-free brand of bread is Promise gluten-free. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard that it's a really good brand. Also, Kinnick is like a brand of like donuts. Now, I'm sugar-free, so I'm not going to eat donuts, period, even if they are gluten-free. But if you aren't sugar-free and you want like a good donut, you can get the Kinnick brand. They have all the gluten-free donuts. And I know a lot of shops do have the gluten-free options. But like for me, for instance, the local grocery store at my place, they kind of mixed up all the items. It used to be only gluten-free in one section. They mixed it all up, so it's all over the store. There'll be a gluten-free option next to a non-gluten-free. So you kind of have to look, and they make it a little bit difficult. But then gluten-free pasta, they have chickpea pasta. They have a rice blend, a corn blend. They have different blends of pasta that there's one, that's really good. Barilla. I think it's Barilla. The Barilla fettuccine gluten-free is so good. They have spaghetti, they have fettuccine, and I make it all the time for my kids, and they have no idea it's gluten-free. They don't know at all. I made it for even my mother-in-law, and she had no idea it was gluten-free. She loved it. She loved the pasta. Just tastes like regular pasta, So if you find the right gluten-free brand, you're not going to go wrong there. So these are 3 different brands that I have to check out too, but that was recommended to me. One is Oh She Glows. Second is Minimalist Baker. Third is Post Punk Kitchen. Now, these are sites that you can get gluten-free recipes from. And then also, www.glutenfreebakingcourses.com is a gluten-free baking site in case you want to try your hand at making your own gluten-free bread, which is probably going to taste a lot better than all of the options in the grocery stores. But I'm going to start looking for gluten-free products online or places that I can order gluten-free products so I don't feel as deprived. Because initially, I was on a very low carb diet with Factor and with everything that I was doing with that. And so this is just going to be a little bit of a challenge for me to cut out gluten for the most part. They also said to me, my endocrinologist said, you got to get antioxidants in. So antioxidants and being gluten-free are one of the two things that can definitely prevent the disease. Now it is genetic, so even if you do these things, you never know what's going to happen. My aunt has it, and so I'm going to consult her and talk to her more and give you guys more information. But it's just one of those things that I'm choosing for myself now. I've just started it like 2-3 days of just being gluten-free, and I gotta tell you, I feel a little restricted. I'm feeling it a lot, because I'm already sugar-free, I'm already restricted, I'm already eating healthy, and it's just one more thing that I have to watch out for, that I can't get something fast, I can't get something quick. I have to really look at my options and make sure I'm choosing local restaurants and local places that have gluten-free options. Mexican restaurants and Asian restaurants tend to have a lot of options, and some of them are quick, some of them you can get fast, but rice, vegetables at Asian places, sushi, and then there's at but you have to be careful of the soy sauce, right? But at places like, Mexican places, you can get the corn tortilla tacos or enchiladas or whatever, and you're pretty good with the corn, and so, yeah, I would love to hear you guys. If any of you guys are gluten-free, give me your tips. I'm going to need all of them. I'm definitely going to be trying my best, and we're probably going to try and fail multiple times, but I'm going to try my best, and there's certain things that I'll probably eat that I don't know what's in it, but I'm going to do my best to stay away from gluten for as long as I possibly can. So if you guys have any tips below, let me know. And yeah, we'll continue to chat and we'll continue to update each other on our health and wellness lifestyle. So I hope you guys enjoyed.